Hello and welcome to Big Orbit Games unboxing video for the new Imperial Assault expansion pack Return to Hoth. My name is Simon and I'll be doing the unboxing. So this box is, I'm just going to zoom in here because it's, I can't zoom out far enough because of how big the box is, unfortunately. You get loads of stuff in here, so I'm going to jump right in. This primarily is an unboxing focusing on showing you what's in the box. I do play Imperial Assault, but mostly just for the campaign and for the fun of it, because it is an enjoyable game. So I'll just give you some thoughts on what I think on some of the new stuff in here, because there's loads of stuff in this expansion. As you see, there's a nice big thick rule book because we get a new campaign in there, which is really cool. This shows you this components list. So most exciting, you get loads of figures in here, 16 plastic figures, you get 3 new heroes, load of new Imperial troops to use and mercenaries. You've got the deployment cards and sheets to go with them, obviously the story missions, new threats, side missions, agendas. You've got 2 new class decks as well in here. You've got new rewards, command cards, items, supplies. You've got the weakened conditions in here. There's loads in this. So just gonna flick through the book. So that's one of the new characters there, MHD19. I'll show you in a minute. But yeah, so you get it's just so much stuff. All these new tiles with all the Hoth setting on there. I'm very much looking forward to, once I finish my current campaign, to jumping into this one and giving it a go. So, but I'm just going to put that to one side. And then we have, of course, new skirmish maps as well. So we have Echo Base on one side and the Hoth battlefield on another. You get new ID stickers as always. So we have in here all the new tiles. So it's a fancy fight game, so there are always tokens galore. You can see here you've got some tokens, some of the characters. So you've got Sorin, Dengar, Leia, and the rebel troops from Echo Base. You can also get these as separate expansions with actual figures in them. So that's quite exciting. So, so let's start digging in to what's in here now. Considering the contents of the box mostly just fills up this space, you go just thinking that if you've got a big collection, then wow, you're probably going to start running out of room soon. So this is quite useful for expanding into. Now I'm going to leave the miniatures till last because they're probably the most exciting part. Love looking through new minis. So we have a quick gander through the cards you get in here. So usually I'm playing the Rebel. In fact, I don't think I've ever played as the Imperial, unfortunately. It's a pleasure I'm quite looking forward to doing at some point. So we have the new Exposed to the Elements, Unchained, Bestial Fury, Enhanced Armor, Personal Shield Generators, and Counter Strike. So these, so the new cards, from what I can tell, look quite interesting. They're giving some nice advantages to the Imperial player. But moving on, we have the new Snowtrooper. So slightly better than normal Stormtroopers, with their surges being very similar, but the environmental recovery gear is quite useful. You and an adjacent friendly trooper may either recover 1 damage or discard a harmful condition. That could be incredibly useful to have. We've then also got the Elite version, so they retain the same stuff. However, they gain the efficient travel. You can ignore additional movement point costs for difficult terrain and hostile figures, so they become a little bit more maneuverable. We've got the new cool repulsor tank. Who doesn't like cool new vehicles? So this counts as massive, which is useful to remember. It has focus fire. You can perform 2 attacks targeting the same figure. Oof. Something's gonna die. And it has defensible, so while defending, you can apply either a block or an evade to your defense results. Then we have General Sorin himself, with the bombardment advanced firepower rules on there. And we have the HK Assassin droid for the mercenaries. So if anyone out there has played Knights of the Old Republic, you should remember these guys. You look at the versatile weaponry. While attacking, you may force the defender to re-roll a defense die. That could be devastating to the rebel players. And targeting computer, while attacking, you may re-roll one attack die. So these guys are going to be vicious, especially as they can apply weaken, they can pierce through and add additional damage. And not to mention the elite version, who's got 2 surges for additional damage. Maintains versatile weaponry and targeting computer and gains priority target. Figures do not block line of sight for your attacks. Ooh. We also have the Wampa. So this is the new creature, although not new to anyone who's watched Star Wars. It is limited to habitat snow, so you can't be using this on Tatooine, funnily enough. It has efficient travel as well, which is useful because it only has a speed of 3. But then we go further down, we look at hunger. At the start of the activation, if there are no hostile figures within 3 spaces, gain 2 movement points. So it's going to be moving around at speed 5 most of the time, but its official stat is 3. But remember, it's non-sentient, you can't interact. And then we have the elite version, so it maintains efficient travel and hunger and non-sentient. It just adds the additional surges on there and the extra health, but its attack and defense stay the same. We also have Dengar, who has contempt and punishment as his abilities there. We have Leia, the rebel commander. So battlefield, leadership and aggressive negotiations. And then the alternative version, which I always forget the difference between the two, so my apologies, but battlefield leadership and military efficiency there. We have the Echo-based trooper. So frontline, while attacking, if the target is within 3 spaces of you, you can replace 1 blue die in your attack pool with 1 red die. Pretty neat. And again, efficient travel. You probably noticed there's a lot of that. The idea, I imagine, being that whilst on Hoth they had gear that was that makes travelling through Hoth just that little bit easier. We have MHD 19 for his skirmish card, Verena Talos, Loku Kanolua, I'm guessing. So those are the 3 new heroes, and I'll go through those when we get to the hero sheets. We also have the skirmish upgrades of the targeting computers. So this is for a vehicle droid or heavy weapon only, and while attacking, figures in the group can re-roll 1 attack die, as if they weren't devastating enough. Then we have the side mission cards. Plenty in there. Look at this, you get so much to work through here. Sorry, story missions though, side missions here, sorry. Absolutely loads of missions, loads. And then you've got the skirmishes as well, Blue on the Snow, A Battle for Hoth, Safe and Sound, and Rapid Adaption. So I don't like going through the missions too much, just because I think it's more fun to have your whoever's sort of running, GMing the session, playing as the Imperials, to be the one that helps you go through the missions for the first time. Way more fun that way, I feel. So let's have a look at these mini cards then, see what we get in here. So we've got the rewards here, things like supply disruption, networks restored, weary from toil, invigorated by success, distractions, strategy executed, constant advantage, resurgence. So those are the banes and boons. We have the systems upgrade here, enhancement, which adds health, iron hand, battle vision. So I'm sort of skipping through those a bit, because if I sit and read every single one of these cards out, we could be here for several hours. So if you wanted to see any of these in particular, just pause the screen and have a read of them. So we have some new supply cards here. So power generator, a weapons cache, a grappling hook, an artificial stimulant. I will stop on this one because this is a consumable medical, and that is important to note. And we'll come back to that in a bit. Then we have the size advantage, survival instincts, negation, overcharged weapons, harsh environment, set a trap, miracle worker. Master Operative, Coordinated Attack. And then we're on to some of the new gear, the DDDC Defender. Sorry, these little cards can be quite awkward to hold as a big pile. So we have the new pistol here, the DDC Defender. We have a Vibro Knife. We have the Underbarrel HH4, so this is a component upgrade modification for one of your guns. The Environment Hazard Suit, so useful for the Hoth-based setting for your heroes. Stun Baton, Cybernetic Arm, Vulcan 38 Carbine, I think it's Dengar's particular favourite, Vibro Generator, Concussion Grenades. Then we have the stat cards for the Weakened Condition, and you get 4 of those. And then we have the new class decks for the Imperials. So we have the Precision Training, so this is good for getting extra rerolls and just a little bit more punch out of your already probably quite tough Imperial Imperial army. So Exacting Strike, Assassins, find the weakness. You can see just how single-minded, you can see how brutal they are. And we also have Armoured Onslaught, so this focuses on things like your vehicles and heavy weapons. Now that you've got access to an additional vehicle for as an Imperial player, this is going to become something you might want to go to. So explosive munitions, armor corps, automated repairs, good for keeping things running, which is always good. Mortar, we have reactive armor, so additional health for them. Powered shields, rapid dominance. And then we're on to the characters. So I'm going to put these to one side for a moment and show you the character sheets, the hero sheets first. So you get 3 new heroes in this one. So here you have MHD-19, Loyal Medic. So this is a medical droid, and he really is a support hero. He's here to help, well, funnily enough, heal the other rebels, but on the flip side, he is vulnerable himself. So his first ability, medical loadout, for one of his actions and a strain, he can search the supply deck for a medical card and claim the card, then shuffle the supply deck. This is a fantastic, sorry. This is a fantastic ability to have. It's why I paused earlier and showed you the new medical card. This means he is very useful for healing the group. However, he is mechanical. He cannot be infected by abilities on medical cards himself. So you need to be healing your allies, but at the same time you do have to be a bit careful with him. He's got 12 health, which isn't too bad. However, only 4 endurance and only a speed of 4. And he has ready for service as well. At the end of your activation, if you did not perform an attack, he becomes focused. Interesting. And attribute tests wise, of course, mechanical being, engineering being his key one. And then on his wounded side, he just keeps the medical loadout, and mechanical, just losing that nice little ready for service Brucey bonus. Then we have Loku Kanaloa. Sorry, I'm terrible at pronouncing names. So this is our Moncal Sniper. So we already had the Bothan Sniper in the first one, but this Moncal Sniper I think he's quite impressive. So we have set your sights for 2 strain. You can use this at the start or end of your activation. Put a recon token on a hostile figure in line of sight. Nice and simple. Then you can move down. While you or a friendly figure is attacking a figure with a recon token, apply +1 damage to the attack results. You don't, that's additional damage for absolutely, well, for basically for free. Note you don't have to discard the recon token, so you can just keep wailing on one guy with the recon token, say perhaps a new tank or a Wampa, and yeah, just completely obliterate them. We also have Clear-Minded. While attacking, apply +2 accuracy to the attack result. So this just solidifies the idea of him being the sniper character. His 10 health means he does really want to be hanging out at the back. The white defense, and his perception vision attribute is one of his highest ones. and then when he becomes wounded, he has set your sights and keeps the damage, so he can still apply recon tokens. However, he doesn't get that extra 2 accuracy. You wouldn't be clear-minded, you're wounded. And then we have Verena Talos, so a new rebel operative, and she's the upfront, in-your-face fighting type. So close quarters for 2 strain, use when an adjacent hostile figure is defeated to interrupt to perform an attack using that figure's attack type and attack pool. And the attack gains surge, +2 accuracy and +1 damage. That's a really, really interesting ability. It's going to take some getting used to when the best time to use it is. But of course, being so close, she needs something like duck and weave. While defending, if you are adjacent to a hostile figure other than the attacker, apply +1 evade to the defense result. So she gets to sort of, she gets a little bit of extra defense in close combat. However, I would recommend trying to get her some armor very quickly to help keep her alive. 12 health's not too bad, 5 endurance as well, and at speed 4. However, when she becomes wounded, she loses that duck and weave. So you do need to be careful with her. So now that I've shown you those, let's have a look at the upgrades. So Mr. Moncal Loco starts with an all-weather rifle. So default +1 accuracy, it's already using a blue and a green dice as well, and he can surge for weaken and pierce 1. And then I'm not going to go through every single one of his XP cards, but we have Scouting Report, a Combat Spotter, Overwatch. I think it's one that I quite like. So action, place a recon token on this card, and then when a hostile figure declares a move or attack, you can discard a recon token from this card to interrupt to perform an attack targeting the figure. Apply +1 surge to the attack results. I think that's probably one of my favourite abilities he can have. He also can get a spectrum scanner, so he can get an item as one of his upgrades for XP. Puts the sights on it, and then exhausts this card when a figure with a recon token is defeated to place a recon token on another figure in the same group. So useful just means you don't have to keep doling all the stress out on him. Then you have Scout's Guidance, Study of Enemies, Coordinated Attack for his big one, and Moncala Special Forces. Then we're on to MHD 19's gear. Starts with the sidearm blaster. As you can see, it's stun and pierce. It's really just designed for low amounts of damage, especially with the blue and the yellow dice. And then Bacteria Injector, Improper Procedure, Field Surgeon. This is, you can see the theme of him being the healer of the group. Film Injection. The Miracle Worker, I like this. Deplete this card when another hero within 4 spaces of you has suffered damage equal to their health. Instead of being defeated, that hero just recovers 3 health. That's so nice to see. I mean, it's 3 XP, so you're not getting it till later on, but still cool to have. We're back to Radiator, a Combat Override, and then we're on to the Military Blaster. So blue and yellow again, but surge, so 2 surge for +2 damage, or surge for an accuracy and pierce 1. Oof. Cool. We have a fighting knife, so it's just a simple blade, damage pierce 2. And then we have combat momentum, so this is for Verena, that was it, Verena Talos. So we have combat momentum, create opening, Katara maneuver, student of battle, point blank shot, improvised cover, the Master Operative, and Combat Mastery. Perform 2 attacks, one with a close combat weapon and one with a ranged weapon. Each attack must have a different target. That's cool. Combat Mastery is. So that's all the cards you get in the box set. Just going to move this away slightly so I've got a bit of room to work with. So you get 16 figures in this expansion. 16! Loads. Just going to spread them all out there. So, excuse my coughing. So I'll start with one of the snow troopers. So just try and line them up, make sure we get each one of the different sculpts, which I think we should do, which is fine. Yeah, it's absolutely fine. So let's just show you the Snowtrooper model here. Sorry, force habit. As you can see, as always, nicely detailed as usual from Fantasy Flight. A lot of the armour was quite smooth padding, smooth plates and stuff, so it's nice to see that there is detail there when they could have easily gone away with putting a little less on it. So yeah, Snowtrooper. So you get, let's make sure I've got them all. Yep. So you get 5 of those in there. Is it 6? Sorry, you get 6 in there. Sorry, because one of them's these. Then we have the HK Assassin Droid. As I said previously, if you've played Knights of the Old Republic, you should recognise these. It's a cool looking droid. Looks mean. I definitely don't want to be facing up against one of these in the campaign. Get the feeling my character would die very horribly, very quickly. We also have the Wampa. So this is the new monster from the set, the new big beastie. Fur looks cool. It's been nicely detailed. Oh, cute little tail there. And he even has both of his limbs still attached. Let's say a close up on the face of him. Rawr. And then I thought what I'd do is also show you him compared to the Nexu. So if you've got the core set, this is the monster from the core set. The camera's not enjoying that, sorry. So obviously there's a lot more height there and different base size. But yeah, I mean the Wampa's no less impressive at all. He's quite intimidating actually. So, and you get 2 Wampas in there. Now here we have the repulsor tank. So I'm going to try and just lightly put this together. I'm not going to push it too hard. You can see how many pieces it comes in. You might not want to press these too hard together. It depends how what you've got for storing it. Of course, you need the base for it to go on. Sorry, drop that. To denote where it is on the field. Can he line it up? He is optimistically saying no. So there we go. Got that on there finally. So there we go. This is the repulsor tank. I just love the idea of having a little tank in Imperial Assault now. I think it's really cool. Not as a rebel player, absolutely terrified to be playing against it. As you can see, I didn't put that in tightly at all, so he's just fallen straight out, unfortunately. So, and he should stay in a bit more now. So that's the repulsor tank, and the other vehicle we've had for the Imperials is the ATST. So this one has just been has been lightly pushed together. As you see, it's quite small compared to it, but then the ATST is, well, it's a giant chicken walker, isn't it? Oh, I dropped him again. So there we go. Details wise, there's lots of panellings and lines on there, but I suppose there's not really a huge amount you can do because of sort of the flat look a lot of the time with Star Wars. There is only a limited amount of detail you can put on there. So there we go, the repulsor tank. Let's get him back in its little seat. Then we have the 3 new heroes. So we have MHD 19 here. I think it's the one I'm least impressed with. I mean, I know it's not a great design of droid to be working with, but I think he looks, I don't know, this looks a bit boring to me actually. Because of the flat panels on the droid's design, there's not really a lot of detail they could put in, and I don't think his pose is fantastic. So it's the only one I'm disappointed with actually. We have Loku here, who just looks incredibly intimidating, which isn't bad for a sniper. Cool backpack on the back, even a little pocket on his cloak there. Yeah, I think he looks really good. I think it looks very cool. And then we have Verena with a dagger and pistol in hand. Good action pose being struck there. Looks nice and dynamic. She hasn't got high heels, which is good. Yeah, I like this one. I think that's a really good model as well. So it's just MHD that I'm disappointed with, sadly. So, there we go. That is everything you get in the Imperial Assault Return to Hoth expansion. There's absolutely loads of stuff in here. Everything you could want from an expansion, so it's definitely worth getting a hold of this if you're playing Imperial Assault a lot, especially because it adds the new campaign in, so highly recommending this. If not, remember everything you've seen here today can be bought and sold on our website as individual components off of bigorbitcards.co.uk. Yeah, I'm going to wrap that up there because I think that's everything we've gone through. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed watching. Remember to like and subscribe. Join me in future where we're doing more Imperial Assault unboxings, including Wave 5. And I will see you next time. Take care. Bye.